Okay, I hope you can see my screen as well. So I hope the rest will be joining in a minute. Yesterday we couldn't manage to have the class, and today I'm having power blackout, but I'll just try and manage in the meantime, just in case anything arises. I'll let you know before I leave. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so we have stata with us. Of course, we say this data analytical tool, and we're going to be using it to analyze data. And any analytical tools always have an access to data entry. And as we saw earlier, in stata we have the command area. I'll show you with an example. For example, if you want to enter data into stata, we can go to data in our menu tab here, go to data editor and click data editor. It provides us with a data editor, empty data editor with no data, so we're able to add data from this point. Alternatively, I can come to the command area and just type data editor. And hit enter. Okay, let me type that one again. Make sure you note the spelling. I'll take the capital NC. Okay, let me check on that. Oh, in a minute. We can work with the commands meanwhile. Okay. God, if I captured something wrong. Okay. Sorry. As you can see, it's not the entire name. It's just edits. So you go to the data editor, to data in the menu tab, you click on data editor. Then we have the option for data editor and then the edit at the end. So it gives you the capture whereby you can enter data. You can see this table format type of data. Again, I've talked about the command whereby you just type edit, regardless of whether it's caps or lowercase. Then you hit enter. It should open or pop up the same thing. Yeah, maybe you're asking yourself, why do we have a data editor? We have two options. We have data editor for edit, and browse. For edit means that if you open the data editor, whether with or without data, it means that you can edit that data. With data editor browse, it means that you cannot enter or edit data in that point. So I'll again, the other advantage of using the command, you don't have to retype the wording anytime you use it. For example, using the command edit, you don't have to type it anytime you want to pop up the edit tab. You can go where we're having our command list. You can see here we're having the few times I ran the editor, data editor, and then edit. But the correct one will always be in black. If it shows you a red command area here, it means you're having an error. And you can see that's why we had these errors here. If I click on edit, just on top, check on the command area, we have the edit name popped up. So you don't have to retype it over and over again. You can just click on the command and then it pops up on the command area and hit enter, and it runs again one more time. So that's on command editor for our data entry. So if we were to enter data here, I can have, say, ID numbers. That's numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our data entry. We are having 5 respondents. Sorry. Let me just leave it as it is. So I just entered the values, but by default we have a column name. We have a column name, and a column name is by default var1 for variable 1. Yeah, to the right we have some few commands. First area where we have the variable, then the name, and in that point we're having the variable var1, the variable name. Scroll, just look a little bit down. We have properties. The first thing is name, named var1. So at this point where you're having properties, you're able to edit the name of the variable to what you want it to be. For example, if I double click on var1 under properties and maybe type this to id, it changes. You can see now it's not anymore existing as var1 for variable 1, but id as id. You can do the same for age. You put your entry, or you can just start with a variable name first. Yeah, so I'll have 23, just random ages. Then the next thing I'll be having after the ages is variable 2, and you're able to change the name again to this point. First, select the variable name. You can see if you select the variable name, the properties is active. If you haven't selected the variable name, the properties is not active. Like, you can't edit the name just as we previously did. Alternatively, under the variable area, if you click on id, the property is active. If you click on, that's under variable list. If I click on variable 2, again it pops up. So the two ways to be able to edit other properties is make sure at the variables here the variable name is selected, or you can just select the column under the table area so that variable is active, and you can edit that. So maybe you can label this as age, and you see that reflects. Of course, this is a lot of work, especially when you're entering data into stata. It's not a case whereby you just come into the column name and maybe give the column a name. You can maybe give the values, but the column names you have to edit them. Yeah, they're given manual automatically in stata. You have to edit them. So nothing else. If I close this table area, if I close and run again, okay, by default just have a view. What we did, we just entered some variables, and you can see already. Remember I said this area is where we're going to see any command output we run and the result. So I'll just scroll up a little bit to where we ran the last edit. So we have number of observations when we keyed in 1. This set of code was generated automatically. If you remember in SPSS, we learned in our last class that you can actually get the codes used to generate a specific entries or results, or in terms of analysis. Now in stata, when you run any code, regardless data entry or in types of analysis you're going to be running, maybe the import and such, you're going to by default get the codes. And the best thing that you're going to get the code and the explanation to that. For example, we have set obs1, obs for observation, set observation as 1. What this did, it generated 1 in our editor. So I want to run the editor again, so I can just click on edit here so that I get the edit command because I already ran it. Alternatively, you can write it if you don't mind. Then I hit enter. It takes me to the data editor window, and you can see here this is what we previously entered. So to always view the table, you can go through the data editor area and you can get the view of the data you entered. On the other hand, we have the codes. So we have set observation 1, set observation 2, set observation 3, and so on. So let me scroll a little bit back again. This is the command that generated the entry 1 we entered when I typed 1, when I typed 2, when I typed 3, all the way to 4. So you can see here we're having set obs1 that generates variable 1 is equals to 1 in 1. So it's just 1 in the first cell in the table. Yeah, of course you can rerun this command For example, we didn't get this manually, they were generated. I hope you can see my screen. Just in case you're confused, you can let me know. Where we're having line 6, under the review commands, we have edit 4, we have edit. Then we have line 7 that reads.
Can you increase the font size?
Okay, I can try that. In most cases, I realized that I can't, but let me try again on this.
Then another question: where are you getting those ops? Ops 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, they were generated automatically when I went to data editor, the edit area. The moment I typed 1 in row 1, column 1, that command was generated automatically. But you can actually type the command yourself and generate something, and generate the variables. For example, I'll click online. This is what generated the first observation. Okay, let me try increase the font. I don't know where I'm supposed to do that. Let me try in a minute. I usually try to use the normal way, the hold control and use the mouse to increase the font, but doesn't work. I don't know whether.
What about if you zoom? Is there any place for zooming?
Okay, I haven't seen that earlier on, but I can recheck in a minute. Usually we don't have that option, so the normal one is there on. But I have managed just to increase the command. I don't know whether you can see the commands.
Yes, I can see the command.
Okay, this is exactly what you are seeing here. Set obs 1 is what we are having here, and this is what generated the first observation. Then we have the second command that follows that immediately, that is generated variable 1 is equals to 1 in 1. This means that this 1, the one number we entered in the first column, first cell, was generated by the use of this command. The location, in short, generate variable 1 equals 1 in 1, generate the location where 1 will be entered. So let me try something, and then you can let me know whether it was a little bit better. We are having numbers that we entered manually in the data editor from in one variable, for example in ID, where we are having we are using first column, but the rows are changing. As you can see, the rows are changing. Then we have the variables running from 1 to 4. Yeah, the same case in the command, it shows that our variables were generated from 1 to 4. You can see in the command. Up to when we generated the fourth observation. Let me do something. This is the command that generated variable 1. Assume we want to add another variable 5, because our numbers, our ID numbers are running from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me increase the size. I don't know whether you're able to see the data editor. I guess that should be possible to increase its size. So let me go back there and maybe use the full screen, or maybe increase it manually. Okay, let me tell you something. I don't know whether this is possible. When you join the class with either the phone or the laptop, there's a possible way whereby you're able to increase the screen from your end by just zooming, normal zooming. Assuming your phone, you just increase a little bit. Just make sure you increase to a point whereby you want to capture that thing. I don't know whether that's possible on your end. I usually use that. Caroline?
It's not there.
No, not any icon, not a place whereby you can increase the size of the screen, but you're able to increase the size of what I'm presenting from my end.
I can't see.
Okay, are you joining using your phone or your laptop?
I'm using laptop.
Okay, this should be a way. Maybe
But what I'm seeing is just your presentation.
Yeah,
Is that a Zoom mode?
Yes.
It's called Zoom mode.
I'm not getting you well, Diba.
There's that option of Zoom mode. You can expand it.
And why is that?
Just on your screen, there's a tab there. From my end, it's there, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Whenever someone is presenting, I don't know whether
Yes.
you can maybe look for that, Caroline. Zoom mode.
Enter Zoom mode.
It's not here. I think it depends with the type of laptop.
Okay, maybe you
just place your cursor on that presentation. Presentation.
On presentation.
Yeah. Put your
Then,
cursor there.
then more option.
No.
We have two things, unpin and more option.
No, just down there. You see where it is written stop sharing?
Yeah.
On your right.
Left, right.
On your right, do you see like something like that looks like?
Oh, I'm seeing. Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Imepotea sasa.
Okay, if you zoom, of course, you can zoom in or out. If you zoom so much and lose your screen, you can try to zoom in so that you get back to where you wanted to be. Thank you so much, Deba, for that.
Okay.
Okay, so I was talking about the entries we are having. So and I was trying to add another variable now using the command, because the command will definitely be generated, so it's up to you to know how to go ahead and generate the output. This is manually, of course. It's not the most recommended, in fact, unless if you're having you're not having the data, or you're having a simple and short data entry, you can do that in stata. But alternatively, it's always good to have your data, let's say, in an Excel format, as I'm going to be showing you. It's much easier to copy paste to stata other than adding it to it. So I have set observation 5. I'll hit enter, and you can see number of observation was 4. Now it is 5. That means I've added a new observation. So let me see. Let me go back to data editor. It's not yet visible, but if you check closely, you'll see we are having like a dot in row 5. The row number is reading, and you're having a dot. That means there's a variable but not yet placed. So we have to run another different command for you to add it. What this means is that we are having a variable but it is missing. I don't know whether you remember the view or the how we had missing variables in SPSS. It's just a similar case. Then I'll run the second command for generating, but now I'm not generating variable 1. I'm not generating variable 1. I'm generating variable 5 is equals to 5, because it's the variable we are generating. 5 in 5 meaning a number, and the other one representing the row number. So if I go back to, let me show you the row numbers how they are. Okay, this was generated wrongly, So I'm having variable 5. It was supposed to get generated in line 5. We're having row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I was trying to add a variable in our case here. So let me do something. I remember I've used variable 5 and already renamed the column. I renamed this column to ID. So another disadvantage of using maybe I should just go back. Another disadvantage of using data entry, in some cases it's not easier to undo some maybe adjustment you just added. Yeah, so what I was saying, I was supposed to generate ID, not variable 5 here. I was supposed to generate ID equal to 5 in 5. So let me see whether that works. Variable ID already generated. So back to the data editor. Okay, still not reading, but it shows us that the variable 5 was entered. So these are some of the disadvantages of using stata. Once you add a data set, so currently we are having a sample data. It doesn't of course have a name because we entered it manually, but if you want to work from one data source to another, you have to clear your space. You clear by the use of the command clear, whereby you clear the data entered and its output, whether it was entered manually or it was imported. In this case, I'll run the command clear. I hope you can see that. Then I'll hit enter. If I go back to data editor window by running the command edit, hit enter, the data editor is empty, completely empty, because we cleared all that we had by the use of the command clear. So that's how we add data manually into stata. So let me show you something else. I'll go to Excel. So let me just open an Excel file. Okay, it's running. I'm opening an Excel file, and what I want to do with this Excel file is create a sample dataset manually, and then I'll use that sample to add it into SPSS, not importing, but by just copy and pasting it into stata. Yeah, which is the apart from importing, we have copy pasting data from Excel to stata. Again, it's a recommended way, but just make sure you follow the required entries. So this is Excel. I'll have the first column as ID, then we have age, then maybe you have gender. And remember, for all the statistical tools you're going to be using, make sure you have your data entries as numerics. I've always recommended for that from the previous one, which was SPSS. The same case applies here. So we're having 10 entries. I'll have age distribution. Let me just copy it here down. I don't know whether you have the feeling, but I'm just using random numbers, so it doesn't mean it means that I'm not copying or I'm not using any existing type of data. In terms of gender, I'll use 1 and 2s, 1 for male and 2 for female. So sorry, oh okay, so this is the data set that I'm having. As you can see, we are having the first row reading as our column headers. Yeah, you can have 5 entries. Make sure you do as I'm doing, so it's much easier for you to understand. If we follow along, you can just have ID, gender, age and gender. It's not a must you have 10 entries. You can have
We are doing
5.
it where? Can we open Excel?
Yes, in Excel.
So if we are opening Excel and you are doing, we won't see the screen. We will just be getting your sauti.
You can't see my screen in Excel?
No, we can see yours.
Mhm.
You are sharing out.
Mm-hmm.
You said that we can do the same time you are doing.
Yes.
And you nakwambia.
Oh, okay. I get it. I get you. I get you. Maybe I can recommend, so when you're joining a class, is it possible you can join using your phone for screen viewing, so that you're able to use your laptop, if it's possible? If it's not, then it's okay. Maybe you can do this in the next class that you join. You can try and join with your phone, so that you can just see the screen and hear my voice under your phone. Then you can use your laptop for working, so that maybe you can try and follow up to what I'm doing.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I'll just copy this. I'm using a random data set. I'll copy this, right click and copy. Then I go to stata and go to data editor. So I'll just click edit, run edit command, so that I'm here on the first cell of the first column and row. I put my cursor there, right click and click on paste. And the first thing I see before any data is pasted is the first row of the clipboard contains values that can be used as valid variable names. In our case, of course, we know that. So the question is, do you want to treat the first row as variable name or data? So in our case, we want the first row to be treated as variable name. So we're going to be choosing variable name, unless if you don't have any variable name, you can treat it as data. So I'll click on variable name, and you can see the data was pasted well and good with our column names just as we indicated them in Excel. Okay, if I add a variable, I can add a variable here. An entry, add a ID, say ID number 11. Apply these changes to previous cell. Apply these changes to previous cells. I'll click yes. Okay, so I have the 11 added, but now because we have also entries in age and number, that's why we are having them as missing. But if I go to now the data view, I pasted the variables, and what was generated was 3 variables, 10 observation pasted, 10 observation pasted into the data editor. So this is the information that was generated when I pasted the data from Excel to stata. I added 11, which generated the command set observation 11. Then we have replace ID is equals to 11 in 11. So these are the command. In short, to generate 11, you need to set the observation, and then you replace that 11 into the 11th row in your data set. But as you can see, it's much easier to copy data from Excel, paste it into stata, other than putting data manually into stata. Okay, let me go back to the data editor. This is where we're having our data sets. So we have to make some adjustments, especially under the gender area. We have worked with gender previously, and we know that apart from gender existing as 1 for male, 2 for female, we know that. But for someone who can maybe get presented with the data, they have to see what male represents. And just as we had in SPSS value labels, we also have the same in stata value labels, only that now this is more a bit different from what we previously had. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just show you the steps. Caroline, are you having a question?
No, I'm breaking.
Can you maybe join the class using one?
Let me use one.
Yeah, that's better. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can get you.
Oh, okay. So I wanted us to add label values on gender, and we said for properties to be active, you either select the column gender, or under the variable names to the right, let me increase the area here where we are having the variable names. I'll just click on gender, and again that should make our properties area active. So what do we want to do? We want to add value labels. I don't know whether you can see these value labels. I just select on it. Yeah, I've selected on it value labels. It's under properties. We have the name, the label, the type, the format, and then we have the value label. And under value label, we have a drop down to the right, that's empty for now, and the 3 dots. So I want us to click on the 3 dots. So the properties, that's where we are, and under properties it's active when you have selected either the column here we are having under the table, or the variable name under the variable field. Then go to the value label, the 3 dots at the end, and click on that point. So we want to create labels so that 1 is indicating that this person is a male, and a 2 indicate that this person is a female. So I click on create label. I'll click on create label. Just after clicking the 3 dots, I have manage value labels. Then I'll click on create labels. You can give the label a name. In this case, I'll just give it sex so that we're able to identify it under gender. Then here, I don't know whether this screen is small, whether it's visible. I said you can increase the screen on your side, but I'll just try to make it a little bit bigger for you. So I've added the label name here. It was unknown, so make sure you give it a name that you're able to identify. I'll show you where that's necessary. Then under value, I'll add 1 for value, and label 1 will represent male. Yeah, click on add. You can see the add button here. I'll add the second one, 2, to represent the label female. Yeah, female. So we are having label 1, value 1 as male, and value 2 as female, and then I click on add. So we have 2 value and labels, just as we did previously. Once that's done, if you have, let's say, a different value label, for example, apart from gender, which you have labeled as sex, you can be having highest degree. You don't have to go back to highest degree column for you to add the value label for highest degree. We're having 2 options here for either deleting the current or adding a new. Adding new meaning that you want to add a new label name with label and values under it, so it won't affect what you're having. But for now we just have gender. I'll leave it as that and click OK. So you can see we are having one value label as sex, and it has a plus before it. If you click on that plus, it should show you what it contains, and it contains 1 for male and 2 for female. Yeah. So let's close and see what happens. I'll go to the drop down now we previously had. Remember the value labels, we have a drop down, then 3 dots. Previously at the drop down it was empty. Now if I click it, we're having none and then sex. Because we have created one value label. Make sure you select the value labels where we are adding this value. For example, I'll click on gender, come to the drop down and select the drop down, and then I click on sex, and it adds. I hope you can see the adjustment of the change. We are no longer having ones and twos. We're having now male and female because we have added the label values. I hope that's noted. You can see now our table looks like. Okay, so again we have added the data. Of course we can analyze with it, but now we are just able to know how to add data into stata, or how to copy and paste data from Excel and paste it to stata. And lastly, we have also learned how to add label values to it. Yeah, so I close the data editor. Of course, if I click on edit, I've typed the ed for edit, and it brings me here. Of course, as you learn, you realize we have shortcuts for our commands. You don't have to type the full name. I can type browse for data editor browse, or I can just type br. Again, it should take me to the data editor window, but now the data editor whereby you cannot edit. Let me explain a little bit back. Data, we have data editor, and we have data editor edit. That means once you open the data editor under edit mode, you can edit the data. If you open the data editor under the browse, either by typing the whole name browse or just br, you are able to open the data, but now in non-editable mode. So let me do that. So I'll run this, and you can see here we're having the data, but unfortunately you can't add, you can't delete, you can't do any changes to this data because you have opened it in a browse mode, and browse mode means that you cannot you're opening the data in non-editable mode, which is of course in most it's safe if you just want to capture the view of the data. So as I said, I shared a sample data previously, but a text file type of data. I just want to show you how to bring it into stata, because we are dealing with data before we go to maybe analyzing, but maybe for common used terms in most cases. For example, if you want to get the summary of your data, you can either use summarize or just sum for short form. Make sure you type the word correctly. The only thing that affects is if the word is wrongly typed, but the upper and lowercase doesn't affect. So I'll hit enter. So maybe I've typed something wrong. Let me just type some. Okay, maybe we are supposed to check on the summarize. I should type summarize. Just a minute. Summarize. Yeah. It's you should not run the summary. You're supposed to run the summarize for the summary, and you can see sum and summarize generated one and the same thing. So we are having variable names, the observation meaning the entries in it. Then we have the mean of ID is 6, the mean of age, the mean of gender. We have their standard deviations, we have the minimum value and the maximum value. Can you hear the background noise? Okay, it's better now. Sorry for that. So as I was saying, we are having the observation, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum and the maximum values for each of the variables that we have. So you can use this in a presentation. But before we get to that, that was just to see how we can run maybe a descriptive. You can also use describe.
So does it mean if you comment about summarize, you'll automatically get mean, standard deviation, maximum and minimum?
Yes.
Because I haven't seen you writing those, commenting those
Yes, you'll
those mean and mode, whatever. You just you only write to summarize.
Yes. You're just going you just type the command, it generates everything.
It will just come automatically.
Yes. Okay, let me show you something else. Maybe you're wondering, why am I using summarize and sometimes I'm using sum? I'll just ask for help. This is how we ask for help in stata. You can either go to the help under the menu tab, and then we have stata command, and type the command here. Say summarize, and then click OK, and it generates this. Alternatively, you can type the command here. Let me close this. You can type help and then the command, say summarize. Either way, you are supposed to get to help. You're supposed to be directed to the help area. And as you can see here, for example, we have the command is summarize, and its purpose is to give you the summary of the statistics. So that means you have to get your data in statistical format, in this case numbers. The syntax is summarize in full. Alternatively, if you check closely, you can see we are having SU and M underlined. What that means is that it's not a must you type the whole name summarize. If you type SUM, it will be automatically generating the summarize or the summary of the statistics. You can always get maybe as you progress and realize we're using different commands, you can go ahead and get the help to just see the short forms or the short name of the command that you want to run. Especially if you're using a command frequently, it's always good to get a short form of it other than typing the entire word. Okay, so I want us to go back to clear everything. I hope you have gotten the data I showed you or asked you to download. I shared through the email, and we said before we import data into this, before we add any other data to this, you have to clear your area of work. If, for example, I import a data set or I add a data set into what we are currently having, it will be added on top of what we are having. And because you want to have it as a data set by itself, you have to clear your space. So I run the command clear, and our space is clear. If you just check the edit tab, edit, I hit run, I'll automatically see my screen is as per, it's empty. And you can always rerun these commands. As I said, you can rerun these commands and work with them. Maybe later in our next class, I'll show you how to use a window whereby, for example, if I close this stata, I'll lose the commands, I'll lose the results, unlike if I copy them. Yeah. Alternatively, we have an in detail area whereby we can just type command and save the commands by themselves. So I'll show you that later when we get, maybe in our next class, where we get much into working with commands, so that you're able to save your commands and maybe run them later on. Of course, you can add comments to them so that you're able to know when you talk about summarize, what did it mean and what was it generating. when we ran a specific command, what was its purpose, and maybe saving it and rerunning it later on. It will also again help you in your review of what have been learned. So I've cleared my window. My edit area is empty. We have two ways of importing the data into stata, either by using the command or by going through these steps. So I'll go to File, and you'll see the Import tab. So go to File, we have Import, and we have Excel spreadsheet, and we have text data. The data I shared is text data, so just click on text. As long as you downloaded it, just click on text data. You should have a pop-up window. Here it is. Let me try to increase its size. Sorry for that. So on the import text data window that opens up, locate your data where it is under browse. You can see this browse tab. Click on browse. Then I'll just locate where the data set is, maybe probably current. You can see it's under downloads. So I'm under downloads. You can see look into. You have a drop down here. If it's under downloads, if you have not changed its location, you just scroll a little bit and you'll be able to see it. The name of the data is Auto 2. So just select on it and click open, and you can see a sample of how the data looks like. We are having first row read as the column names, and then we have the entire few entries. The delimiter option here, it's automatic, but if you're sure, for example in our case, you can make sure you select the comma delimiter. But by default, because we already, as you can see, it's reading us the path. You have it's under C, user, PC, downloads. The name is auto2.txt. So that means it's a text file. So I won't change anything apart from locating it. I'll just click OK. And again, a command is given unto me, whereby if I can rerun this command, or if I always run this command, I can always generate the data as far as the data is under downloads, PC, user, back to local disk C. If the path is the same, if I can run this command over and over again, I'll always get the data. What we have in the data, we have 4 variables and 5 observations. What does that mean? I'll go to the editor by typing the edit command, hit enter, and you can see here we are having make. This is our empty cast, it's a cast data set. So we're having make, the MPJ, the mileage, then we have the weight, and we have the price. 4 variables means make, MPG, weight, and price. 5 observation means we're having 5 entries. So we're having the first AMC Concord, we have AMC Pesa, we have AMC Spirit, we have Baki Century, and we have Baki Electra. So these are our observations, and of course they run from make, MPG, weight, price. So this is the first observation, the second observation the same way, and the third. So that's what our output result here mean. So we have our data. Yeah, that's one way of importing data into stata. The second way on how to go about it is by the use of the insheet command. So the only thing needs to be done here, if you want to use the command, in this case maybe I can type the command. The command for importing data is insheet using. Just that, and then the name of the data that you want to import. In our case, our data name is auto.text. So insert using, and then the name of the data. With this command, you'll be able to import the data. But now, for you to import this data, the existence of the data should be in the location whereby our stata is. So for example, and the dataset currently exists under downloads. Yeah, just as you have seen, I've gone to user PC, then we have downloads, and that file is text file. If I want to import using this command, this data must exist in where this stata itself, or the stata setup is. So let me try something. Okay, I'm not sure whether I changed it, but maybe I can confirm. It might run and it won't run on your end. So let me show you something. I'll go to downloads in the data area where my auto text file is. Just locate it, select it, right click and copy. Make sure you don't cut it. Copy, locate where stata is. Remember where we opened the stata itself. Of course, yours it should be other downloads. I previously changed or copied all the downloads to a downloads folder, different folder. So you can go through the same, just how we went through the process of installation. If you're having an extracted file, in my case I had previously an extracted file, which I don't think it's to everyone else. Let me show you. If you can't find it, you can search it as well. Okay, I can see that. So I'm having a folder here, this one. I'm having a folder. If you right click, if you have the folder, you can use that. So under folder, you just click and it opens the location where the files are. So you just need to paste it here, as you can see in our case. I don't know whether, do we have the, maybe I should ask before I continue. On your end, do you have the starter corps folder, or you just have the zipped file? Someone?
Pardon?
Do you have the folder under the location where? Can you hear me?
Do you have what?
Can you hear me? Okay. Can anybody maybe confirm whether I'm audible on your end, or it's just Caroline? Hello. Can anybody hear me?
We can't hear you. You are breaking. I think you have a network challenge on your side.
Okay, let me rejoin. Let me just rejoin. Can you hear me now? Hello, someone, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but I have a challenge. I don't have power at my place. So
Okay.
I'm using my phone to just listen to what's going on.
Okay, no problem. I understand. I'll be ending the class in a few. I also said I don't have power in my end, so maybe someone else. Can anybody hear me? Caroline, can you hear me now?
You are still breaking a bit.
What about someone else?
And now you are clear. I think you be there.
Okay, I hope I'm clear to the rest of us. Maybe you can confirm just in case you can't hear me.
So now can you repeat your question?
So I was saying we locate where our starter is. You see, the current version we're using of starter, we opened it from somewhere, right? So you can locate that area either by going through the steps we went through and just locate where it is. I'll show you. If you have a folder, it's much easier to work with. If you don't have a folder, you have the zipped file alone. I'll just again show you where to locate it. It should be the same, but now in this case you're supposed to add up somewhere. So if you don't have the folder, you can see in my end I'm having a folder written starter cop, starter version 14, and I also have the zipped file that generated. I used to install the software. If you don't have the folder, just double click on the zipped file. It opens. The password is 123 as always. It will open the starter folder now, the one I currently was having. Open it, both of them. Then here where we are having the version we were selecting, just paste it here. Just paste your file from this point. Just paste the auto text file we are using. I've said if you're having the folder, you can just go through the folder. Again, you should be able to paste the data set, the text data, the auto data set I shared with you. Until the dataset exists in the location where your file is, you can't use the in sheet. You'll always end up with an error. So you can always check on that. I don't know what's running on my end. Okay, let me go back to stata as the Nini closes. So for example, if I try to run the in sheet, I'll hit enter. And the error says you must start with an empty dataset because this dataset doesn't exist where the my starter file is. So I was trying to copy it to that point. Let me see whether it's running now. So we have the stata area. So I'll just go through the folder area. So I locate the folder in my end because I already have it. The stata cop, open it, and where I'm having the stata file, I'll paste the auto text. I'll paste the auto text. Okay, let me copy it once more. It's under downloads. Under downloads, I'll copy the auto tool, right click and copy. I said don't cut. Then I'll go to stata folder, and here I'll paste the auto dataset. So it says it exists. Let me replace and see what happens. So I already have it. So let me try and rerun the command again. The in sheet, auto text, and then the name of the file that I'm importing, or the name of the file that I'm importing. So I run it. Okay, still not running. Let me paste it under the zipped file. I'll come here and I'm just trying to locate my stata. Let's see whether when I paste it here where I'm going through the zipped file format, I hope it won't lag me behind. The password is 123. Okay, so again I'll try to paste the file, the stata file, the auto file here. I don't have the paste. I don't know whether, do you have the paste option on your end? can see select copy to clipboard. I don't know whether I should recopy. Have someone managed to copy the file? Caroline?
I'm getting nothing.
Okay, I'll share the video, just maybe you'll try and follow if it will be successfully uploaded. Maybe you can try and follow that. So let me again, I just want to copy the
because this side now, what you are now doing, I think we used that method that time when previously when we were installing the starter.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm going through
again, we are coming back again.
Yes, but this time what we want to do is paste what I just said is let me locate the data. The reason I'm going through those steps, I just want to locate where my stata is, the version I'm currently using. I wanted to paste the data set that I want us to import into stata using the insheet command. I don't know whether you're getting right now.
I'm really floating.
Okay, let me take you back to stata. What I'm saying is we can import data into stata using the file, then import, right? And then you locate the file that you want to import. I hope that's clear. Alternatively, you can import data using stata command. Are you getting me? And the stata command for importing data now is the insheet. I just realized that I didn't clear the data imported. I imported previously. So let me clear this. I said it's always good if you want to add a data set, you clear the previous data you had. So apart from going to file, import, and import a starter file into stata, you can run a command and import the same data, but now using a command. I hope you're together to that point. So the command for importing data in stata is insheet, using just that, insheet using, and then you add the name of the data that you want to import. That is auto.txt. txt. So the reason I was going through the steps I was trying to go through to just locate where we opened our stata is because for you to use the insheet using command or to use the stata command for importing data, that data must exist where the stata you are using is located. I don't know whether we are clear to that point. Hello, can you hear me?
Is it a must that the data should be auto text, or you can save the number with a certain name?
Yes.
You use that command.
Yes.
Let's say the folder is called Ogalo.
Yes.
Now you command insheet using the name of the folder is Ogalo. How can we relate that?
You just type the name. If the name is WordPress, then my command will be insheet using WordPress, and then dot, this is the extension. If it's a comma separated file, it's a text. If it's an Excel file, a normal Excel file, you use the dot extension for Excel file. So the Excel extension must be there, but now the name can be different. It's not a must, it is auto.
So auto2 is the name, then dot txt extension.
Yes.
Continue.
Then the other thing that you must note is for this to run, the dataset must or the data, it's always good that the data set exists the location where this we opened the stata itself.
Excuse please.
Yes.
If you go to import,
Mm-hmm.
there are several choices. There is Excel, spreadsheet,
Mm-hmm.
text data, text data in fixed format.
Mm-hmm.
For the document you sent, it is in which format now?
It's a text data. It's a text data.
Text data in fixed format, or text data.
It's
The second one or that one?
It's the second one. The second one. It's the second one. It's the second. Yeah, it's the delimiter. But no, it's not the .csv. It's the .txt, the .text file. If you probably you can try to open it. It will open as a text file. TXT, but we're opening it using the delimiter, the text data delimiter.
So I click on that.
Yes.
I don't see it coming.
Okay, what is up? Once you click, you have to locate it. We have file to import. We have the browse. Under browse, this is where you locate. Where is the data set located? Is it under downloads? Is it under documents? Is it under local disk C? You locate it. You can see you have a scroll button here so that you're able to view everything.
How do you locate it? I just download it. It is under downloads.
So you can come here. Once you click on browse, we have look into and then a drop down at the end. Click on that drop down, and then we have a scroll so that you're able to see the downloads, the local disk C, the user, the document, the desktop, and so on. Can you see that?
I'm not there.
Are you there now?
Where's that browser?
Browse.
Where do you browse?
At the end, before the close, can you see where my cursor is? We're having the minimize, the maximum, and the close tab just below that. Can you see my mouse? I'm trying to move it around. I don't know whether you can see that. Make sure you haven't zoomed a lot. Maybe you can minimize if you...
I don't have that.
Yes.
Where did you get that page?
Okay, maybe let me see someone else. I don't know whether there's someone else who has opened their screen. I go to file. We have import. Make sure you don't click on export. We have import. Then you click on text data delimiter. The pop-up must have the browse so that you are able to locate, which is the first empty area is file to import, and at the end of that cell you should have a browse to the right.
Mine is giving an error.
What do you mean an error? What kind of an...
to dynamically load Java runtime library.
Okay, is anybody else having such data? Okay.
I'm seeing the browse, but I can't see the data from the download now.
Make sure you can maybe probably confirm whether it's at the downloads before you go to import. You don't assume it's at the downloads. Maybe you can confirm when you downloads.
It's there under a recent download history.
Okay. Okay, let me show you. Go to file. Let me go back to file, import. Then we have under import we have text data. Under browse, when you are at the downloads, make sure you scroll. Can you see this horizontal scroll bar?
Horizontal.
Yeah, just below, before we go to the file name below, just after the list of the files under downloads. The bar is lying horizontally. Can you see my screen?
I can't see.
Can you see my screen?
Unless I go back to your screen.
Oh, you're using...
Let me go back to your screen.
Okay.
This side.
Here is the scroll bar. Can you see the scroll bar?
Yours, I can see yours.
Yeah, locate. Just scroll to the far right. You should be able to see the what follows text.
Still not there.
And if you're having a couple of or a number of downloads, you can maybe scroll from the right to the middle, just a bit by bit, just in case you're having lots of downloads.
I'm just getting the one. Or can I open it from the download first?
You can still open it, but it will open in a text file format.
So let me go back.
I wanted to try something. I want to see whether the data set will again run. Let me just do this.
Okay.
I'll remove the data from where I pasted it. I'll just delete it so we don't have any file. The downloads shares the same. We have clear, and then I run again the in-sheet. Let me see whether it runs. What error do I get? File auto text not found. Okay. I'm running out of power, so I'll be off in a minute, but maybe I should leave you to look whether you are able to import the data. You can work on importing using the import tab by going to file, import. In this case I shared a text file, so you use text data delimiter, try to locate your data from that point. Alternatively, if you in a way understood what I said by using the insheet command, before you run the insheet command, or because it's another way of importing data now using the command, make sure the editor is empty. You don't have any other data. By running the clear command, you run the clear command. Then under your data set, now in your file, you can go to downloads, copy the out of file that I shared, or the out of 2 file I shared, and paste where, or paste it in the folder where our stata is. You realize if you don't run it, if the file doesn't exist in the same location to where you're having your stata opened from, you'll have file out of 2 text not found, because this is reading. You will see this case if you probably go to a case whereby you have to study SQL. For you to open any data set, it must exist where SQL itself is. The same case applies. For you to open this data set using the insheet command, the data itself must exist to the location where your stata is located. The current version you're using is stata is located. The dataset must exist there. Okay, so I inferred to I wanted to us to go more or work with more of these data sets. Maybe you can make sure you work on your own, learn how to use the insheet as well as the import data. From tomorrow we're going to be working with how to use the data sets, yeah, and again you're going to see how to generate random values. I intended to do that, but my power is down. I said we have been blackout again on my end.
I have a question.
Yes, ask.
About vile observation, or will just go direct to the data set you sent?
Okay, you can use the current data set. If I'm able to share the video, make sure you follow. Those observations, we didn't generate them. They were generated automatically once we went into stata and typed 1. Then the code was generated. Maybe you can do it one by one. I can maybe do a step. Let me go to the edit window. Edit. Let me show you something. The edit is empty. I'll just type 1 in the first cell. I've just typed 1. I've done nothing else. So, okay, let me say no. Okay, let me type 1. I'll type 1 and then close the window. Okay, didn't run. Let me go back in a minute. So I have to. Okay, I'm in the data editor. I'll type 1 in the first cell. Let me hit enter so that the variable is generated. I've typed 1, and by default I have the variable name as var1, and I have 1 as my first entry in the first cell. Just that. Then I'll close. If I come to the command, you can see I have set observation 1. So 1 observation was generated, and it was generated by use of the variable under variable 1 in row 1. So 1 was generated in row 1. That's what this means. So let me clear again and maybe redo that. I'll go to edit. Edit should be empty. The edit is empty. I'll type 1 in the first cell, or I can type 2. Let me type 2 other than typing 1. I've typed 2 and hit enter so that the variable is basically generated. So I'm having variable 1 and the first cell is 2. I'll close. If you come to the command area, I'm having set observation 1 because just 1 observation was generated. Then we have generate variable 1. So the variable was, or the variable name is variable 1. That's why we're having the column name as var1 is equals to 2 is what was generated, and it was generated in row number 1. So we have generated 2 in 1. This command are generated automatically. I'm not the one typing them, but just in case you want to use commands to generate the data, you can go ahead and use that. But for now, this is how they're just generated automatically. Unlike if you want to generate a specific value, you can go ahead and use the commands. Is that okay? Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to be working with data cleaning processes by first generating random values. So tomorrow we're going to be using more commands. So maybe you can interact with the interface of stata and see how, just make yourself friendly and comfortable with working with the commands. Excuse me, with working with the commands, as well as the clear going to the edit tab. Just make yourself comfortable with the windows, the stata windows. It will make your work easier when you get to working with just commands, pure commands. Yeah, and that's why stata is more advanced than SPSS, because we're going to go up to machine learning. So, and in most cases we're going to be using commands. That's why I'm telling you to just make you comfortable on working with commands. Of course, you don't have to clamp the commands. For example, we said you can use help. You can just say help generate. It will just guide you on how to understand what is generate used for, when it is used, and examples on the same. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll try and share what I've been recording. Otherwise, let's meet tomorrow.
Can you share it through WhatsApp instead of email?
No, I can't share it through WhatsApp. The recording?
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Oh,